Today we are moving along in the Human Design profile series, talking about the 5-2. Last time we spoke, we were talking about the 5-1 being the Heretic Investigator, and today we are talking about the Heretic Hermit. And the 5 being the conscious aspect, 2 being the unconscious, 5 being the Heretic, 2 being the Hermit. Now, the 5-2 profile tends to combine the sort of influential, solution-orientated energy of the line 5 with the sort of natural gifts and reorientated sort of nature, I could say, of the line 2. Or should I say retreat orientated nature of the 5-2. Yeah. And these individuals, they often possess talents that seem quite innate, yet they require quite long periods or frequent periods of privacy and withdrawal to actually be able to develop and sit with the gifts that they have been given. And, you know, the 5-2 is often someone seen as, they can offer practical solutions. They're guiders. They can be in leadership roles. Again, it needs to be within their kind of expertise and their gifts. And at the same time, they have very little interest in constantly being seen or in the limelight or even being available to others, which can make this quite a tricky profile to navigate. Because, their life often involves navigating this kind of tension that's between being called, into the world and also needing space away from it at the same time. And yeah, they have to learn how to balance this kind of like public pressure or public kind of impact that they can have with also the kind of private restoration that they require at the same time. So yeah, 5 having this universal energy that seems to kind of attract projections from others onto them, thinking they can solve this and that and the other, and it's just not always the case. And so obviously when someone comes to them to solve a problem and they're not able to solve it, it's not within their interest, not within their expertise, then further projections get formed onto them. There's a great level of like disappointment, another series of feelings that others can feel, when the person doesn't step up to the table. Well, I shouldn't say table, but I'm just looking at one right now. But step up, when they've expected them to, and not actually engage whether that person is interested to or even has the skills in that particular field. And then the 2 behind 2 just really wanting to, retreat away from the world. And yet also their gifts really only emerge by actually being part of the world. And yeah, that they learn through more of a natural aptitude and lived experience as opposed to the 5-1. The 1 needs that kind of research aspect, that sort of grounding, whereas the 2 kind of needs to be in life, practicing life for the natural gifts to come. So yeah, unlike most profiles that are like seeking out opportunities, to assist or go to particular places, do certain things, the 5-2 seems to be usually inundated with invitations. There's no seeking required for them. They just can have this way about them where people come to them, they haven't even asked, they haven't even let people know what they're good at. And, then they're having to navigate, is this the right thing for me to be engaged in? How much time can I give to this project, or what it is that this person's requiring, this group is requiring? And so if you're a 5-2 and you're wondering, well, how do I actually use my profile? So first off, you want to be honoring your need for rest. You want to be trusting the natural gifts that you're recognizing that you have. And sometimes you may not recognize them at first, but others can help you see that. You know, waiting for genuine recognition, you know, not just someone going, oh, you might be good at this, but not actually really knowing what you are good at. And, you know, being selective with your commitments. So obviously not overcommitting, not too much time or too many things at once. In following your personal authority, you know, so whatever your authority is and the type, how does that operate? You get given an invitation of some sort, going through that process of whether it's the right invitation for you. Now, the common challenges for 5-2, they are often like feeling pulled between privacy and visibility, as we sort of spoke of before, unrecognized boundaries, underestimating your natural talents, trying to meet everybody's projection instead of just managing their expectation, and hiding away for too long. People aren't going to know that you really exist if you're not out engaging with people, which I'm sure you might be very happy to, but you're not just here to hide. You are also here to guide, if I can put it that way. So how can others support you? You know, if you know someone that's a 5-2, what can I do to support them? Well, one of the ways is respecting their need for space. It's also things like recognizing their gifts, like genuinely recognizing their gifts, not projecting onto them what you actually want them to be good at. You know, inviting rather than pushing them into something, avoiding unrealistic expectations from them, and trusting their rhythm. You know, they might not say yes now. Maybe it's something they want to engage in a year's time or something rather, you know. Now, the gift of the 5-2, excuse me, is, you know, them sharing their gifts that emerge naturally and applying them in ways that create some really meaningful change. You know, could be to a particular person, a group of people, a collective, you know, a much larger group in general. You know, when they honour both their need for solitude and their capacity for influence, they become quite a powerful bridge between like personal wisdom and collective benefit. So probably the core lessons of 5-2 is you're not here to be consistently available, nor are you here to remain hidden. So finding where that middle spot is for you. You know, their path is one of learning when to emerge, when to retreat, when to answer the call, when to decline it. And their wisdom often comes from, you know, recognizing that their influence is the strongest. Not when they're trying to do everything to everyone, but when they allow their natural gifts to be seen, to be recognized, and shared in the right timing as well. If you've got any questions about the 5-2 profile, let us know. Put that in the comment section down below, and you can find us on various other social media platforms. Links to those are down below as well, and we'll see you again soon.